2nd of October, 2006, I was wrapping up a mission, a cordon and search mission that had gone bad, and I'd stopped to talk to one of the non-commissioned officers who was sitting in a Humvee, and as I turned to leave and walk back to my truck, I was struck in the chest by a sniper round. An Iraqi sniper had picked me out to kill me and fired one shot from a Dragunov sniper rifle and hit me in the chest, right here, just below my collarbone. And it would have killed me dead, except it hit the Black Diamond rock climbing carabiner that was holding my M4 rifle sling to my body armor.
And now I have a dad. Still.
He still has a dad. And in that photo, you can actually see the bullet that I dug out of my body armor afterwards. It went through the carabiner, and it dug in hard into the body armor, and it would have killed me because the body armor at that location is not strong enough to resist rifle fire. But the combination of the two and the angle that it hit me at was sufficient to stop the round. I got a really bad third-degree burn. I got impact bruising that went deep into my chest. They evaluated me to see if it had bruised my lung right through my sternum. And it knocked me ass over tea kettle. I tell people I saw sky, I saw dirt. But my team reacted really well, drugged me off the objective, threw me in a Humvee, and got me out of there. And I managed to convince the poor young kid that was with me to retrieve the carabiner from the middle of the street. Through a little bit of connivery, in that I kind of told him I was going to go get it, and he threw me on the ground, ran out and grabbed it and told me to get in the damn truck. But I got back from that mission, and I was very, very thankful. I mean, I had nightmares about it. I worked through stuff with a counselor after I got back to the United States, and I have no residual issues. But when the bullet hit me, I took shrapnel, right? Bits and pieces of bullet and bits and pieces of carabiner flew up and hit me in the face. And a bit of copper bullet jacket got stopped by my Wiley X sunglasses. So I am now a poster child for Wiley X. They have supported me spectacularly with gratitude since then. I was in contact with them beforehand, actually, talking to one of their reps. And afterwards, he sent me some free sunglasses. And I've been talking to people about how Wiley X sunglasses saved my eyeballs since then, which is 100% true. They did. And they're fantastic glasses. And I wrote a great letter to the people from Point Blank Industries that made the body armor that saved my life. And I got a letter back that says, "Oh my gosh, we're so grateful. Thanks so much. We stuck it up on the factory floor. It means so much to the people here. Got to sew all day long, in a sweatshop in southern Florida to make body armor for the U.S. military, to know that what they're doing actually contributes to people coming home alive." And I wrote a letter to Black Diamond back then. And I don't know, again, maybe we talked a little bit about, the divide and how we feel about things in this country, but they sent me a letter back that said, "That's very interesting, we'll inform engineering." I was a little nonplussed at that. But at the end of the summer, I was struck again by how grateful I am to the people of Black Diamond for making such a fantastic product that they had no intention of stopping bullets with it. But I wrote them another letter, and I included pictures of myself at the, basically at the time, I included pictures of myself coming home and hugging my kids. I included pictures of me and Zachary rock climbing and some of the things we've done since then. And needless to say, I got a slightly different response. So in October, I told Black Diamond I was going climbing at the New River Gorge in West Virginia again, and they sent a videographer out to film it. And they sent us a bunch of free Black Diamond gear, including that t-shirt. And they expressed their gratitude to me for telling them that, in fact, they make the only rock climbing carabiners out there in the global rock climbing industry that are in fact bulletproof. And I've got a great relationship building with that company. I look forward to visiting them in Salt Lake City, Utah in the near future. But I throw that out there because one of the things that when they interviewed me in the process of working with them, they had this videographer out there and they asked me to tell my story, and I told it slightly more detail than I just said now, but I gave them the story. But during the interview process, the interviewer said, "Hey, we're planning to air this on Veterans Day. Is there anything you want to say to the other veterans out there?" And that really rocked me back on my heels because I wasn't prepared for it. And I got to thinking about how extraordinarily fortunate I was. And you think about some people are, luck happens in weird ways, right? You think about a bell curve and you're all the way out here, six standard deviations from what usually happens when somebody shoots you in the chest with a rifle, right? Well, the problem is that in the combat operations we've waged, there's people that are on the other side. that were extraordinarily unlucky. And there's all those family members and people that have known veterans and people out there that have watched, maybe seen my story or seen something about this discussion and are thinking, wow, I wish my son, husband, brother, cousin, significant other could have been that lucky, because they're not here anymore, and they're at Arlington Cemetery, or they're someplace else now, you know. And I think about other veterans that are really, to this day, you know, I mean, we've been out of major combat operations for a while. I mean, there's still an enormous amount of fighting going on that people aren't really tracking in the Middle East. But thankfully, it's less than it used to be. But you know, everybody comes back from that thing and struggles with that, and a lot of people wind up taking their own life. And I think that rock climbing is an amazing sport, and it's very welcoming and inclusive, and I think that it's incredible because it challenges you to do something. It challenges you to risk falling. And the most elite rock climber climbing a 5.14D, which is like right now the highest graded route you can climb in the world, I think still. I don't think there's a 515 yet. And the rawest beginner, both of those people still have to take on that challenge and make the decision to try to get that next hold, knowing that they may fail or that they may fall. And the rope is there, and it's intended to catch you and provide you the impetus to take that risk and do it. But it's still overcoming fear and overcoming a natural urge, a survival instinct to not make that attempt. And that kind of ties the rock climbing community together. It makes the absolute best people in some ways very similar to the folks who are just starting out, and it means that they're very inclusive. And I mean that term in the classical, if you will, interpretation of it, as opposed to the modern interpretation. People there are really welcoming, and they are a community, regardless of what their political beliefs are, because they feel this thing together that they do in order to achieve something that is incredible. I mean, climbing a sheer rock face is amazing, right? And I think about veterans, and I think about the things that would drive someone to take their own life. And you know, I honestly believe that you know, we fight nowadays to be safe. We don't always fight to win, and that's a problem. It's okay to be competitive, and it's okay to strive to win. And when our military doesn't deliver on that, when we siphon off the risk taking that is necessary to really accomplish something, because we're just too averse to the risk to actually accomplish tasks and maybe risk failure that would mean people's lives, it impacts soldiers. And I'm hoping that our military will eventually come to terms with that and figure it out. But in the meantime, a lot of guys went through that and feel like what they did didn't mean anything, and it did. And they need to continue to challenge themselves, whether it's trying to grab that next hold and knowing you might fall, or some other, you know, challenge. Be competitive. Go out there and find something you can't do and decide you're going to do it. And I have this gut instinct that tells me that doing that kind of thing is what's going to drive guys to hang on to life and deal with the problems that they've got, and find goodness in this world and find continued reason to be in it. So anyway, that's what I really wanted to tell them. And I said something similar at the end of the interview. I've thought about it a lot more since, and I hope that kind of message gets out and that people think about it and listen to it.
Lieutenant